This week's video is brought to you by the generous support from I'm Just Happy to Be a Stormtrooper, Adam Jordan. The Empire thanks you for your service, my friend. 'Tis the season to be spooky, so I've decided to dig up a bona fide creepy co-host for the rest of October. Say hi to the kids.
Greetings, meat sacks. It is I, Bonaparte. You probably don't recognize me because of the red vest. I know you've all been dying to see me again, so rest your weary bones as we scare up a few fiendish films and monstrous movies over the next couple weeks for Vader's triple feature of terror.
Easy there, Hamble. Let's not get too wacky.
Sorry, I got caught up in the spirit of things.
I know curiosity killed the cat, but since I'm dead already, I figure it's safe to ask.
What's on the chopping block for tonight, Helmet Hair?
I'm glad you asked, Bonehead. The film we are about to review is the reason Sean Connery quit acting. And he was in Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Egad, you don't mean...
That is correct, my cadaverous friend. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Directed by Stephen Norrington.
Released on July 11, 2003 by 20th Century Fox, starring Sean Connery and a bunch of other losers I've never heard of before.
Fun fact, Sean Connery was offered parts in The Matrix and Lord of the Rings. He turned both of those films down because he didn't understand the script. When he was offered this film, he still didn't understand it, but he took it anyway.
Bad luck, sir. I guess the old boy didn't roll lucky 007 that day.
Qui-Gon was right. Whenever you gamble, eventually you lose. All joking aside, I was 16 years old when this movie came out. The film's visual aesthetic and the action sequences displayed on the trailer intrigued me, particularly the Invisible Man and Captain Nemo's kung fu exploits.
Incidentally, when it came to finding Nemo for the film, director Stephen Norrington turned to Indian actor Nasiruddin Shah.
Now, I've always enjoyed the Victorian aesthetic, whether it's the clothes, architecture, or storytelling. And the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen tells the story of the very first superhero team, comprised of classic literary characters from that era.
So what you're saying is, British fiction is your cup of tea?
A good cup of tea is nice on a rainy day. Back to the movie. Our League of Extraordinary Limeys do battle against a decidedly operatic villain known as the Phantom.
He's a bit theatrical for my taste, but hey, who am I to judge?
Now, I hadn't seen this movie in over 15 years, and I remembered I was kinda disappointed with it when I was younger. But watching it again, I actually liked it.
Get out of town.
No, I'm serious. Overall, I enjoyed the characters, the visuals, and the world building of this film.
I suppose the skeleton of a good film is there.
But by far the weakest link of this movie looks like the missing link.
Unfortunately, there is no hiding the movie's biggest flaw. The creature design for Mr. Hyde and his computer-generated adversary at the end of the film.
It wouldn't be so bad if Monkey Boy wasn't in the film so much, but unfortunately, he's one of the main characters, so we're forced to spend more time with him than I would like, and it drives me absolutely bananas.
From a technical standpoint, I can respect what they were trying to do with Mr. Hyde. The complex prosthetic costume weighed 45 pounds and consisted of 8 separate pieces with almost 6,000 muscular components.
The only problem is, it looked like crap.
The other characters were good, though.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'd gladly watch an entire movie of Sean Connery as Alan Quatermain. And what's even more impressive is that at 72, Goldbond proved he still has what it takes to kick butt and take names.
At least Henry Jones Sr. is still a tough guy, eh?
Produced on a $78 million budget, the film grossed $179.3 million in the box office, and opened number 2 just behind an obscure little film called Pirates of the Caribbean.
Speaking of pirates, 2011 Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows completely stole the villain's plot from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So I ask you, if a movie is good enough to steal from, how bad can it really be?
Fun fact, all of Captain Nemo's turbans were made by the same person who makes the royal family's turbans in Rajasthan.
Well, I guess that wraps things up. Final thoughts on the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
It's not extraordinarily good, but it's not extraordinarily bad either. And if you enjoy a Victorian aesthetic and want to kick back for a cheesy adventure film, I say to give this one a watch. Don't expect an Oscar winner, but I think you'll have a pretty good time.
Once again, the robot's right as rain. There's some fun to be had with this movie, if you can overlook the crappy bits. How many Death Star thingies would you give this?
I'd say for the visual aesthetic, economic world building and storytelling, over-the-top action sequences, and particularly Sean Connery as Alan Quatermain, I give The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen a solid 3 out of 5 Death Stars. The Emperor is not as forgiving as I am.
Hear, hear.
Tune in next week as we review another early 2000s cheese fest with vampires and a crappy-looking Mr. Hyde, directed by another guy named Steve. Take us out of here, Bonehead.
Well, it's been a scream, kids. And since it's October, to all my guys and ghouls out there, Merry Christmas.